A common topic that comes up on travel nurse Facebook groups all the time is, can I become a recruiter? Can a travel nurse become a travel nurse recruiter? So I thought, we're going to go right to the source. We're going to talk to a travel nurse who is now a travel nurse recruiter. Once again, Brad McDonald, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again, Rich.
All right. Atlas All Access starts now. Okay, here we go. Talk to me about the first time you really thought, as you were a travel nurse, maybe I don't want to do this anymore and I could become a recruiter instead. Like, what was your mindset?
Sure. I remember, it wasn't that long ago, just under 2 years ago. I was actually at the Phoenix meet and greet, which we have coming up
Which
here.
is coming up here,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. I had recently, it started maybe a couple years before that, I had hurt my back lifting a patient off the ground when I was working in Tucson. And it just, kind of bothered me to get sore sometimes. And then when I was in Phoenix on my final assignment, one of these days I couldn't stand up. I pushed the patient upstairs and I collapsed to the floor. I'd have my little 5'1" friend walk me home. I took a urinal home because I couldn't stand up straight. It was crazy. And I was like, this might be bad, herniated disc situation.
Right.
And so I'm like, what happens if this keeps happening? And it did. And luckily, shortly after I had already had the trip planned. My family was coming to town. All my friends were coming to town. Atlas was coming, and I just started talking to Eric Stepp, my recruiter, about it. And he's like, actually, we're hiring right now. You've already got knowledge in the field. Like, are you interested? And then the talks just started happening, and it kind of built from there. And talked to you guys. We both thought it was a good fit, and here I am.
Shifting from a nurse to a recruiter, I think, talk through that process, because two completely different jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Talk through that process.
Well, totally change of pace. Old ER nurse. So I am adrenaline junkie. No day's the same. It's all crazy. But you work 3 12-hour shifts and you have 4 days off a week.
Yep.
Typically,
Yeah.
unless you're working OT. And so going from that to working 9 to 5, plus, I give all my nurses my personal cell, so you can get a hold of me 24/7.
It's not really 9 to 5.
It's 9 to 5. It's not 9 to 5. That is the biggest adjustment. But as far as your knowledge base as an old traveler going into being a recruiter, you do, I would say, have some advantages, knowledge base, whatever, getting into it, because you understand what it's like on the other side. But there was still so much you did not know, or I did not know until I came over to this side of things.
I figured time commitment was probably one of the bigger
100%.
pieces of that, right? Okay. If you love travel nursing, right, it doesn't necessarily have to take an injury or something like that for you to make that choice. Talk about burnout right now, because I know you're experiencing that with your travelers right now, right?
Sure.
And this isn't necessarily an easy way out, but it's an option, certainly.
No, 100%, and that's a good point, too. I didn't bring that up just because the back was the one that really triggered it, but I did work during COVID in the ER. Burnout was a thing, for sure, and I've spoken to a lot of my nurses that have gone perm staff after working with them as travelers, and it's very common. And it, like you said, it's a nice natural transition to make you feel like you're still doing good. For me, I like nothing better than getting first-time travel nurses out there, because I remember how great of an experience it was for me. So that's where the satisfaction comes in, and you know what it's like. You know how awesome it is, so you can sell it better too.
Okay. Your perception of a recruiter while you were a traveler versus how it actually is right now.
Yeah. Wow. Night and day. Totally. Because you don't know all the ins and the outs. Like, you think your recruiter has all this knowledge, but realistically, the big difference that you learn is how many channels this has to go through before it gets from nurse to hospital.
Right.
And so sometimes the biggest step, or biggest revelation that I got, was how many steps in the process there really are and how important it is. So you might think your recruiter is not doing anything, but to be speed to market the process, if they've got new jobs, they have to be looking 24/7, digging into the information. Like, I don't even get them on my phone when I'm not working anymore, because I'm tired of looking at it, because I'm just Googling things, typing, responding to Teams chat, email, text message, whatever, our Vivian, whatever it may be, So that was quite the change.
I bet that's and you read about it online. The actual versus perception are two completely different things. Absolutely different.
Well, and one more thing I would like to add there is also the lack of like control sometimes that me as a recruiter has, because that's a big question. They think I can just offer more money and stuff like that.
Yes.
I want to.
Yeah.
You know, of course I do. Yeah. You make more money, you're happy with me. We work together still, you know.
Yep.
But sometimes I just don't have that power.
It's just not there. No.
Yeah.
And there are layers of not necessarily bureaucracy, but it kind of is.
In a sense,
right? To get to that even in the first place. So
totally.
Yeah. Okay, final question. Day-to-day of the job. Walk me through, what's your normal day look like?
Like sometimes you wake up, it depends on how much crap happened when you went to sleep, you know? So first things first, email. Did a nurse get back to me about anything that I'm following up on? Clean up everything before everyone else is awake is kind of my approach in a sense.
Okay.
And then it goes to immediate job hunt for all the nurses that I have full profiles on that are ready to go, whatever, or people with extensions, reaching out about those, things like that. Next step, reaching out to new people. So that part of the day, I usually like to do that in the middle of the day when most people are awake. I don't like to do anything before a certain hour because, you know, people in different time zones and whatnot.
Yep.
So you go through that and you message so many people. Well, then you got to go back to the job board again because, again, I spoke earlier, speed to market is the key. If you're not the first one in the door, most of the time you're not going to get it.
Yep.
So usually I'm doing that every hour, every half an hour, depends on how many people I have I'm working with at the time.
Gotcha.
And so that's basically a process on repeat while you're solving compliance issues, while you're solving payroll issues. That all jump in the middle and interrupt you through every single step of the process you're doing.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right. I normally wrap this up. I'm going to let you wrap it up this time.
Okay.
Okay. If there is a traveler out there, if there's a travel nurse out there that is thinking about becoming a recruiter, give them your pitch.
If you're a travel nurse right now and you're thinking about making the jump, my best advice would be to talk to your recruiter first. Have them, I spoke with Eric for hours upon hours before I finally decided this is the right fit for me. Talk to your friends, see if you can talk to their recruiter. Talk to as many people as possible. I would say with any career change you ever do. Get all your information. Talk to me. You got any questions? I don't know how many times where I'm doing queries, I'm looking for new travel nurses. In my response, the response I get, how did you transition from a nurse to a recruiter? So here we are.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah. Interesting. So as much knowledge as possible.
Gain all the knowledge you can. Ask all the questions you can. Your base of knowledge in nursing is already a good stepping stone to get started. But the rest, if you want to get to the real meat and potatoes, talk to a recruiter, have an honest, open conversation about how bill rates work, where the money goes. Like, there's so many things. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, learning every day still.
Right. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I still learn every day.
100%.
So there's absolutely things that you can, just as the industry evolves and grows, right? It's always changing and always.
It's morphing all the time, too. Yeah, you never, even once you think you've got a hold of it, all the rules of the market change.
There you go. So he offered, if you have questions, give him a call. He's happy to answer those questions for you. Brad, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking some time out of your very busy day as a recruiter right now to hang out with me and talk about this.
Anytime, Rich.
Awesome. We'll see you next time.